Hey everybody, welcome to Chris Anderson Comics. I'm Chris Anderson. I have a very special guest today, my friend Sean Luke. How you doing, man?
Good. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. So we're gonna get a special sneak peek today at your book that is forthcoming from Cosmic Lion Productions. This is issue one half of Karate Ninja. Um, Best title ever, I have to say.
Oh, thanks.
It's so funny. Like, like it's about karate and it's about ninjas and he's a karate ninja. Got it.
Exactly.
I get it and I want to know more. So yeah, man, you nailed it on the title. Um, and what a cool cover too. This is just
Oh,
such a
thanks.
cool image. Um,
I don't know
so
if you ever went in and looked closely at what the bumper stickers are.
oh no, I haven't. Let's see, what are they?
So, one that might be a little more apparent is the MTV logo, like a MTV
Okay,
bumper sticker, and
here,
then and then directly next to that is you can't because there's a glare
glare.
on the bike or whatever. That's a Wendy's "Where's the Beef" bumper sticker that actually did exist in 1985. Is
Yeah, I'm
that
sure it
exact
did.
bumper sticker, and then
Yeah.
on the gas cap, he put a radiation sticker,
Okay.
and then there's a Slayer bumper sticker
Oh man, there's
under
a ton of stuff going on. Is that
under the
Atari?
handle. Right next to that is a Canon films,
Uh-huh.
and then above the little marker light next to the engine on the black bit there is a Suicidal Tendencies bumper sticker, and then below that is the Atari
Yeah.
sticker, and then above the rear tire is Garbage Pail Kids. But then one that's kind of off to the side on the opposite side of the bike is a Biohazard sticker.
Oh, over here.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then there's stickers on the other side that you'll see on the
Sure.
interiors.
You spared no details on this thing, huh?
No. And like kind of invoking the, since I knew it was going to invoke a bit of Akira-ness, I wanted to have the Canon Films one
Yeah.
because he's got the Canon Canon cameras sticker on his bike, but I'm like, well, why would this kid have a Canon camera sticker? Is like Canon Films, and then it also harkens to this being a little bit of a love letter to the B movies of the '80s to begin with.
Oh yeah. This is 1,010% a love letter to that, as we'll see. So this was printed for IC3 last year, right?
Yeah.
To have in time, just as kind of a preview. So this has the first half of the first chapter.
Right.
Okay, cool. Just want to give people kind of an idea. So yeah, we started out. This already feels very much like Lethal Weapon. Shot right here in the very beginning. Like you cast this character perfectly. I look at him just leaning up with a walkie-talkie, and I already know that he's like some sort of police detective.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
Instantly.
yeah. I definitely want. I wasn't trying to. I wasn't looking up photo references of Danny Glover or anything like that. But
Right, right.
but like, I had Danny Glover in mind for
Yeah,
the character. Definitely.
absolutely. Yeah, it instantly feels like an '80s movie when you open the thing, and you got Los Angeles, so you got the port of Los Angeles here, right? And they're
Well,
kind of
so out of curiosity, does shipping actually go through Los Angeles, or
well,
does it go through Long Beach?
yeah, it goes mostly through Long Beach, and there is a port of Los Angeles that I think is sort of like by the airport, but I don't know if I've ever actually seen it.
Yeah, because I've never been to California, which part of one of the jokes to me, like a me joke of this whole
Uh-huh.
thing, is a Midwestern kid's portrayal of LA in the
Yeah,
80s.
totally.
Just as, no offense to you or anybody else living in California, but fuck you to Hollywood, saying, haven't you ever been to the Midwest?
Yeah.
Because you obviously don't know what the Midwest looks like.
Yeah. There was I was at a meeting for the Art Directors Guild, and they were just talking about a movie that they had recently saw that was obvious, that was very clearly shot in Atlanta,
Mm-hmm.
but took place entirely in Los Angeles in the story. And they kept doing like shout outs to like street corners that they were on, even.
Uh-huh.
And it was like the full nothing matched like Los Angeles at all. And it was just like they were talking about how hilarious it was. But they were like, if unless you live here or think of know what those streets look like, you would never know the difference.
Exactly.
So
right.
anybody can enjoy that movie except for people who live in Los Angeles, who are going to sit there and go, "What?"
Right. And then there's a bunch of like 80s real, not even B movies, like D grade movies
Mm-hmm.
that they're supposed to be set in California, but they were actually shot in the Philippines.
Yeah. Yeah, that
like, I
might
don't know if
even be
California
like,
looks like a jungle.
yeah. Like, where are you? But yeah, so it opens at this port here. Yeah, you definitely wouldn't like see the city from the,
right. Yeah.
the ocean.
So that was kind
Yeah.
of a me joke, because I was like, oh, where are the docks? And like, and I saw that it was like in Long Beach, and I'm like, oh, that'd make it even funnier if
Yeah.
like it's Long Beach, but I'm just like Los Angeles. So it was kind of a me joke to throw it in there that way.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny actually. I on purpose, for my very first book, Lost Angels, the cover for it, I on purpose sort of stuck all of these Los Angeles icons in this shot for the cover.
Mm-hmm.
So that it was like the LAX, into like the old like tower that's there, and the big LAX letters that are there. But then like off in the distance, you could see like downtown, and over here off in the distance, you could see like the Hollywood sign. I just wanted it to be really quick, this is Los Angeles thing. I didn't really care about the geography of it. And the editor was immediately like, well, you wouldn't be able to see downtown from the airport. And I was like, I know, like I live here. It's about getting the idea across. It's not about the actual geography of anything. But
what makes
yeah,
this
that got
part
vetoed.
even funnier to me, also as a slight me joke that like we can let the audience in on, is the jurisdiction of this detective is all sorts of messed up, because like he doesn't show back up again until what would probably be issue 4.
Okay.
Or he doesn't show up until the middle of the second chapter, so maybe even issue 5 if it does go to be an issue 5, depending on how I'm collecting them or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he doesn't show up again until way later. But it takes the majority of the story takes place in this like suburban town. Mm-hmm. So it's like, what the hell is he doing being in this like suburban town investigating this stuff or whatever? It's like totally like messed up jurisdictionally, but throwing it back to that B movie thing to where it's like, oh, you're just throwing shit at the wall.
Yeah. It doesn't matter. It's just we're getting through the story. Stop trying to like place this in reality, right?
Right.
So they're like they're sitting here trying to like bust the shipment that's coming in. Is that what's happening here?
Yeah.
And you get this bridge here, and this like big I love this shot. Like it's the same shot, but like you see the truck sort of peeling around the corner here.
Yeah, that's one of my charade-isms, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Like where I'll do these like composite shots like that just to slow down the pace a bit, and also because I could have made the whole dock the opposites right? So that way,
Right.
when the shot came up, the truck would be driving into the next page.
Mm-hmm.
But because of what happens on the next page, I wanted to like kind of try to divert your attention away from it a little bit. So I
Yeah,
was
yeah.
like, no, it's going to pass in front of you and head off to
This way.
yeah, off to the left instead of the right. So that way, yeah, so that way kind of draws your attention away from it and let you kind of hang back before the shit hits the fan, so to speak.
Yeah. There's also this thing, I guess I'm calling it like a page punct or like a page period
Mm-hmm.
or something. But that going through these like Dave Cockrum X-Men issues,
Mm-hmm.
you'd see like, especially in the beginning, it kind of petered off as it went on, but like he was like a master of the page flow.
Mm-hmm.
And I noticed that every single one of his last pages, he would have any action moving to the left, which, in cinematic language, it means something bad or bad, not good, kind of thing is going to happen where positive things kind of move to the right. But he would always do it just to sort of like, you're flowing, you're flowing, you're flowing, you're flowing. This is the end of the page. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So it's like putting a period right on it.
yeah,
And it's kind of worked for me. So, like I like the idea of it making you stop and then like looking at the page. And then like to your point, it makes you stop so that you aren't you're more like these drivers who don't see it coming,
exactly. Yeah, because because it was trying to get you to just like hold. You know what's coming,
Right.
right? Because you got peripheral vision, right? You
Yeah.
know what's coming, but
Yeah.
like as you're reading, it kind of is holding you back for a second. Kind of like I kind of looked at it as pulling the rubber band and just kind of holding it before it snaps.
Yeah, you have to think of those little things, as you're creating these pages. It's something that most, you know, people who just read comics aren't even thinking about it, that we're trying to manipulate the where you're looking. That's
Right.
half of our job.
Yeah, and I'm constantly thinking about ways to manipulate story flow in
Hmm.
general.
Yeah.
That like, which it's like, it's all kind of an experiment to me in that kind of manipulation, lowercase m.
Hmm.
um, but like, how do you really test that? Because once a person knows that you're doing it, they're going to be looking for it. So how do you know if
Sure.
you're actually doing it,
Yeah.
doing your job right, or if you landed on something that really actually works?
Yeah. 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 Because you create the language for that particular book right in the beginning. You set it up,
Right.
for them to expect things, and then yeah, like how do you throw them the other way? Well, this is a great way to do it. And I also like the way that you have this just black panel behind there, sort of connecting them, you
Yeah.
know?
Who I think who put that in my mind? I think it was Mignola that really put that in my mind.
Mm-hmm. Could
Like,
be.
yeah,
Connecting these sequences is, yeah.
yeah, where it's like here's a thing that's separate, so it's almost like as if like do you know what McFarlane would do something like this too, where like
Mm-hmm.
he would have a big bar right down the middle of the page, but then
Yeah.
have the panels overlapping this long black bar and
He
stuff.
for sure would do that. Yes. Yep.
And like
Absolutely.
in reading those kind of books where they're just doing this thing that's just kind of graphic or whatever, more than likely it was just like like to make the page still look interesting but
Yeah.
not have to draw as much.
Right.
But like growing up being like, well, what point does that actually have in a story?
Mm-hmm.
Right. And like, oh, okay, well, it could mean this. And it's like, well, if it does mean that, like, how do we utilize that
Right. Exactly.
to keep an, oh, okay, this is like kind of like brackets to keep this idea together or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think when McFarlane was designing his pages, his whole thing was always do whatever, just make it look cool for the kids. Kids love this, kids love that. Let's make it all.
Right.
He wasn't worried at all about clear storytelling, at
Right.
all.
Whereas with on the Mignola side or whatever, when I saw Mignola do it, it clearly made
complete
sense
opposite.
that, okay, these panels up here, this is a thing that's happening together, and we're compressing the time within these panels. But then also now it's this idea down here is separate, and you're back to your linear pace.
Yeah, exactly. So there's things that you could always take from Mignola and stuff. And then I think that there were times in like the McFarlane work where you would find things that worked. He probably didn't even intend for them to be like storytelling devices in that way, but happened upon it. And then we can take it and, you know, utilize it to tell a clearer story.
And honestly, even with Liefeld, I've lifted some of his stuff that not images, not themes, whatever. Right. Like some of the things that he would do just because they looked cool to him, but like kind of gave them story purpose. Where you'll hear some people saying like oh, if you're going to break the panel, you only do it this many times. You might only do it once, or or don't do it on every page or whatever. But it's like, okay, well, but he would do it, and he would be like violating perspective by doing it and stuff or whatever, right? And it's like, well, how would you make that work? And I wish I had an example of that in this book, but once again, I have an example of it in a later issue where things get really chaotic, and I'm like, oh, this is the perfect time to do that because it's so chaotic and things are so messed up. So it's like, I'm warping the perspective because like this person in the midground is breaking the panel border, but the people in the foreground aren't, and so it gets all kind of wonky when you really look at it. But there's a certain energy to it that kind of just adds to the confusion and the excitement of what's going on.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, this truck comes through here and nails these things, and then as we see these like ninjas come down, and damn, dude, you're not even pulling any punches here. Whacks this guy's head off, and
another composite.
This is the Chaikin rule, where you have a setup, you have an insert panel, you have an open panel, and you have 3 shots in a row, and that's Chaikin's paradigm, basically.
Is it really?
It is. He would do every page like this. Watch, now that you watch anything like from like basically the shadow on.
Yeah.
Yep. You nailed it.
Wow.
So you got they're trying this Danny Glover-ish character is they're
white knuckling it.
White knuckling it, and this ninja shoots an arrow in and makes him kind of crash here, and he thinks his nose is broken, but oh man, his partner here got an arrow right in the neck. Dude, these are great pages.
Yeah, and then like this is the point to where like this is where the music starts.
Yes.
This is where and like to me in my head, the kid is listening to Institutionalized from Suicidal Tendencies, so that's where would start, and then the title card would come up. Totally.
Yep, and then you jump the scene to Karate Ninja, and I love this. Created by Sean Luke, written by Sean Luke, art by Sean Luke, in association with Cosmic Lion Productions and Sean Luke. So you really got the whole 80s vibe of the opening title and everything.
Yeah, and also that's kind of a to the B movie creators, that it'll be like, if you ever see a movie that's like written by, starring, edited by, all
music
by, it's like the same guy. Yeah. Oh man, is he also going to be wearing a black tank top? Let's see.
So he's driving down in his sweet motorcycle, and then now I see all the little things in here, and you did all these by hand, right?
All the
stickers and stuff.
The stickers, yeah.
You are insane.
Yeah, and like that screen tone, because not all the screen tone I did physically, but that bike I definitely did the screen tone physically on that.
So he pulls up, and they're at like a dojo here. They're like a competition, right?
It's at the Lost Meta Valley Recreation Center.
Oh, right. So automatically, and as you can see from the cast of characters behind here, we're getting Karate Kid vibes, from all of this. So these are like teens that are, competing in these karate tournaments, right?
Yeah.
And so yeah, like we get introduced to the main character here, and like they're like checking out his sweet bike, but you still got these 80s bullies who are like messing with his friends,
Who are obviously got to be the rich kids because they're all preppy, and
oh yeah, totally.
Kid drives a Corvette.
Yep. And the only reason that he has this bike is because his sensei lent him some money, right?
Right. Yeah.
I love the them in the screen tones in the back too. That looks great.
Yeah. Before you flip it.
Yeah.
Unintentionally, I did not mean to make the guy look like Randy Quaid.
Yeah, he does.
Or Dennis Quaid? No, Dennis Quaid.
Dennis Quaid, yeah. Dennis Quaid.
Yeah. I did not mean to make him look like Dennis Quaid, but like now he's like an asshole Dennis Quaid.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
An asshole version of Dennis Quaid in my brain.
Right.
Like, oh man, if he was in the 80s, pre even though like he would be a lot older than these guys, but that would make it even funnier if it was like if it was him playing like a 17-year-old kid, like in the what, inner space time period.
Yep, inner space era, yeah.
He's like 30.
Yeah, totally. That would have been really funny. So you've showed me a little bit of your process on this. Do you have any of these pages like in your book that you can show?
I do. Like, so this page that
what's a good one to show? Like one before this, or
I could show any one of them.
Okay.
So I had to redo this one a couple times just to like get it right. Let's see. Are we in? Yeah, so
yeah, we're in.
Here's the pencils for that page.
Okay, so these are the pencils for the page. You do them just like that in a notebook, a small notebook, I will add.
Yeah, an 5.5 by 8.
Yeah, 5.5 by 8 notebook. So you're drawing all this little tiny details, very, very small in pencil.
And then I did the bike in full on this page, and then I composited it together by other pages. Or like that I put together because I didn't know if I wanted to have the option of being able to use that image because it works so good, but like you can see the backgrounds of these kids over here are different because I composited in from a different one, but then these guys are the same.
What kind of pencil are you using? Because that's really, really tight detail.
I am using just a 2mm lead holder.
Just a lead holder.
Yeah. Well, this is one that I'm using right now. It's a mechanical lead holder, but but my main one that just happened to be out of, I finally ran out of lead, but yeah, so just a drafting pencil basically.
Sure. And then you just sharpen the shit out of it, huh?
Yeah, which isn't that hard, and having such a hard lead, it'll maintain the sharpness for a really long time.
Yeah.
And then just sharpen it with one of these. And
yeah, we talked about that. They always break on me, so I just never use those.
Yeah,
I don't know how you do
so
it.
using it, I was always trying to figure out why that was, and I found that one, you just got to clean these things out regularly.
Mm-hmm.
Because otherwise it'll just like build up and then cake in there.
Okay.
And start catching as you're trying to do it, or they've become dull.
Okay.
And when they become dull, they'll also start to catch, because it'll be like, I think,
Yeah.
but like
I'll try that. I probably also
like it starts to catch.
Yeah.
Once it starts to catch a little bit, open it up, tap that thing out like as best as possible, and then sometimes I'll like if it's real gummed up and I don't feel like buying a new one yet, I'll like take like a safety pin or something and actually just like kind of scrape down into the grooves. But once it gets down to there, you should probably be buying a new one.
Right. Yeah, no, I mean mine will snap when they're brand new. I think it's just because I pulled the lead out too long or something. But
oh, that could be too. That's what these little holes are for, though.
oh, is that what it is?
Yeah. So if you
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought it was. I know the one is to clean the end off.
yeah, so the middle one is got the little like clean it off or whatever, but you'll notice there's a triangle on it.
Yeah.
And the bigger triangle is like you put it in that one if you had snapped it off. And then you make sure that you push it down to that part, so like there's just barely a little bit sticking out.
Oh, see, they don't. It doesn't like come with instructions or anything. I was just sticking it in and spinning it.
Yeah, and then the one with the smaller triangle is if you already do have a point, but you need to just really get it sharp.
Yeah.
You put it in there because they have their like this one doesn't go as deeply as this one does.
I see.
That'll keep you from snapping it off.
And then this thing with the fuzz is just to get the dust off of it, right?
Yeah. You just like kind of stick it in there.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow, learn something new every day. So then once you have it in this notebook, what's the next step?
Once it's all like tightly penciled, then throw it into the scanner, and I have it proportioned almost perfectly to where when I scan it in at 600 DPI, pop it in the computer, and then put it onto a template that's at 300 DPI.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll just drag it over into the template that's at 300 DPI, which will automatically blow it up.
Oh, okay. To the right side.
Because you're taking a 600 DPI image and putting it into a 300 file, so it doubles it in size.
Sure.
And then it's almost perfect to the template. And then I'll just stretch it out just a little bit. And then maybe if there's some other like small digital work, like those composite panels, so I took the background of the pencils and then put the entire put those three panels together of the truck driving, right? And actually, wait. This was the original of that.
Oh,
so
got it.
I took this background and put it over each one, or put it behind each one, and then I also flipped them. The only reason why I have it going backwards this way is just because of like vanishing points.
Got it.
And then so I reorganized it back to the other one, and then printed it out, and then inked them all fully.
You ink it out. You print it out in blue line.
Yeah, print it out in blue, and then ink it.
What are your inking tools?
So right now I am using a Kuretake brush pen. I'm using a Kuretake like brush pen.
Right.
And then also we'll use a Hunt 102 and the Cornor Ultra Draw.
Yes.
Yeah, the rapidograph.
Yep. Yeah, that's very black and very flat, and I love it.
Yeah. Oops. And there goes
very cool.
There goes my liquid mask.
Oh no.
Oh well. I don't use it.
And then you do the screen tones in digitally, right?
Mostly just as a cost saving measure.
Yeah.
But every single tone I have bought and I scanned them in.
Sure.
But that part of that is because digital screen tones seem to be too clean to me.
Yes. Same here. I do the same thing that you do.
Yeah. And like, and I just don't want to use anything. I don't want to do anything that I can't do physically
Sure.
in the computer. Though
Right.
I do still like do some fades here or there, but I try to do that minimally.
Yeah.
Like that's a thing that I'm going to try and practice and find a way and practice getting on physical, which I think there might be an eraser. I was talking to Anton of Zethia fame, and he was saying that there is an eraser out there that's like got like a sand grit to it, like sandpaper.
Oh.
And he was talking to somebody else, and he said that he's going to find that, and I said I'm going to need to find that, and if he finds out before me, he's going to let me know, and if he finds out before Zethia 2 comes out and you give an interview with him on it, maybe hopefully he'll remember to let you know.
Okay.
So all the listeners out there and watchers out there will know that this crazy cool sandpapery eraser exists to where you can smudge out without having to go nuts on like cutting and chipping and whatever.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, that'll do some interesting textures and stuff.
Yeah, which he said, I don't remember who he said uses it that way, but he said that he was at Heroes Con and told them about it. So somebody that was there.
Okay. Well, that doesn't narrow much down because pretty much everybody was there.
Yeah,
except for,
true enough.
You and I.
Yes, except for us. Everybody.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So, continuing the story, these two, they kind of get in this little bit of a beef, but then the sensei comes in and, kind of breaks it up, says, bring it to the mat, basically, right?
Essentially, yeah. It's like save it for the match or whatever.
Yeah. So he's like, remember, fire in here, never in your head. Save it for the tournament. And they both are like, yes, sensei, and walk off. Yeah, and so you get these like moments with like, mom talking to his kid and like, you don't, I don't want you hanging around that kid, blah, 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 blah. Like all these like moments. And then he sees this girl getting out of this super hot car, this redhead, this Molly Ringwald character-ish kind of thing,
Who obviously is a rich kid because she's driving a Porsche.
Oh yeah, totally.
Like
and
the matter, the station wagons matter.
Oh yeah,
I'm really proud of that station wagon on that page because I added the flannel screen tone into to like because there were like the Griswold car I think had like a little bit of a checkered in the Vacation movie or whatever.
Yeah.
Like so like just trying to drive home as much 80s, like the subtle 80s-ness as possible.
Yeah, that's great. I love that. And so you got the big match, and they start going to it. You got your boisterous announcer here.
Yeah, who in my mind is like the local DJ.
Yeah, totally.
From like the rock station or something.
Yeah. And she comes out here and is like announcing the Molly Ringwald character as she is like she like won the tournament the year before or something like that. Is that what it was?
The week before, because like here's like all the little like overthinking. If you go back to the first page that we introduce Keith, you'll see on the sign. Next page, sorry. Yeah. You'll see on the sign August 14th, girls karate.
Oh, right.
August 15th, boys karate.
Yeah. So she won the week before. Got it.
Yeah, or the night before.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah, the night before. So he's like, that's the chick with the Porsche.
Yeah, and like me being me, I'm pretty sure I got this right because I went through the calendar to find out what August 15th was of 1985, which is a Saturday.
Okay. So that makes total sense. So yeah, they start to fight, and it's not going great for him. And he sort of has this moment where he, repeats the things that his sensei kind of said to him, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I love this shot where he's just like, ooh, and nails him and just like kicks him across the whole floor. And he wins, and everybody's freaking out about it. And she gives him the thing and says something about how like you looked great out there, and he takes it as like, oh, she like likes me. She said I look great. And then he goes up to talk to her later. Oh, but in the background, you start to see that the sensei is talking to some other kind of guy, and there's something nefarious going on, right?
Mm-hmm.
We don't know what it is yet, but
originally that was supposed to, all of their dialogue. I might still do it later on. All their dialogue, I actually have it written out in Japanese.
Oh,
like
so
to where you wouldn't even be able to read it at all because it's
unless
like
you
in
read
Japanese. Unless you read Japanese, yeah, I actually have it written out.
Interesting. Yeah, and so then she's kind of like, you're like wild. Your style is wild. You did great. You should come over to my house, and we'll like, in the woods. You need some nature, of course, right?
Yeah, you need to be with nature.
Yeah, and we'll go come over to my rich ass house, and we'll go into into nature in my giant backyard, and we'll
the forest
practice
preserve
together.
across the street. Yeah, which he knows where her house is because he recognized the Porsche, and he knows that Porsche was in a house across from the forest preserve. That
Right.
because he lives down because it's like down the street from his friend James.
Right. And also, it's okay to have some creepy stalker vibes in this because it's the 80s.
Exactly.
And so, as these guys are talking here, you're about to kind of find out what is going on because he's talking to like this other dojo owner, but then he puts his headphones on and you kind of miss it, right?
Right.
And so he's like, taking it to the limit and driving down the street. And we go back to the dojo, and these ninjas that we saw, beheading cops in the very beginning, have showed up and are looking down the thing, and that ends the preview of Karate Ninja. But it's not the end of the preview book because you also included we see it in another video, but your pages from Ghost Agents, which is cool.
Yeah,
and
those I actually finished with screen tone first.
Oh yeah.
So this was like the way I had submitted it back to Rocco, but I think he was correct. I definitely believe that he was correct in this because it was opening the book. He wanted color that opened the book.
Sure.
And I'm like, I get that. He's like, yeah, if it was on the interiors for a story, that's one thing. But like opening the book, he didn't want people that are anti-black and white to get turned off. And I'm like,
right,
yeah, that makes sense. But I wanted it to be differentiated. Like it was my way of trying to like differentiate myself from like the first stories that were like awesome and were looking great. And I'm like, I just want this to be as much of an intro as possible.
Yeah. Oh man, these pages turned out great.
Make it about me in any try to not make it about me in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah. And what's this story from? This is earlier, I take it.
Yeah. So this was my friend Jody had this idea for a story, and we're kind of tossing around because he has a lot of ideas.
Mm-hmm.
for just like stories. He's just like constantly coming up with
Yeah.
stuff. And we were shooting around the idea of making a little magazine,
Mm-hmm.
like maybe a yearly magazine, and having like Chicago friends like just do his stories, and then we like just have a creepy or eerie style magazine. And that's that's actually my rendition of him on the first page.
Oh yeah. Right here. That's
No, no,
funny.
no, and up
Oh.
the ghostly figure.
Oh. That's
Yeah.
funny. Yeah, this is a cool story. So these people like happen upon this like rural place where this guy's got all these like super lifelike marble statues, and this is old coot, and then he like gasses them, and then you find out that he has this process where he can turn people into statues. I love your line work and all this, man.
No, thanks. Yeah, this was all Hunt 102.
Yeah,
Like, so
a
yeah.
little brush here and there, right?
Huh?
A little brush here and there for the spots and stuff, right?
No. I was
Really?
just using 102. Like what I would do, because this was also done with the ink that I wish that I could use, but it doesn't work in the brushes. But I was doing this with the Holbein um, super opaque black,
Oh,
which I think looks even better. Like it looks really good, but it's not. It's acrylic though, so it's not
yeah.
water-soluble and stuff. But what I'll do if I'm using a 102, that I don't recommend doing this for anybody.
Okay.
That ends up being I'll block in all these black areas with it, where I'll just like kind of overload it and then just like kind of let it pool, and then
Oh
just
yeah.
kind of nudge it around
Uh-huh.
and then just let it dry. And this stuff dries really quickly too.
Yeah,
So like it doesn't really matter.
man. Well, it's beautiful. I love the textures that you got with that.
Yeah, thanks.
But yeah,
Yeah.
it's cool to watch you grow, and then you see a lot of it in this one, half issue one half. But you'd have to track you down to find an issue one half, right?
Yeah. Well, you can right now. This is available if you were to go to what's it called? Uh, Kablam has their own shop that you
Oh,
can buy
okay.
stuff through, and it is called, what is it called? Indie Planet.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you go to Indie Planet, do a search for Karate Ninja, you can find Karate Ninja there.
Okay.
Um,
I'll put it
but
in the notes.
but once it does come out on Cosmic Lion, this version of it won't be available anymore.
Sure. So get it while it's hot. But then also
and
get
even
the Cosmic
and
Lion
even
version.
like these backup stories,
Yeah.
might not even be in it.
Awesome.
Like I there may be, I don't know who yet, but there may be backup stories from uh, other Cosmic Lion related peoples.
Okay.
Just to have samples as advertisements for their books.
Sure.
Like, because I don't want to anybody to be like making something new. They got their own stuff to deal with, but it's like as an advertisement, kind of like how I use the Ghost Agents pages as an like a long form advertisement for Ghost Agents.
Got
If
it.
anybody else wants to throw their hat into the ring, because this will have 2, maybe 4 more pages. I'm not sure which ones are going to end up in there,
Right on.
but yeah, so it's going to be an extended the tournament will be extended by 2 pages
Uh-huh.
because I have 2 16 panel grid pages for that, and then there's 2 other pages prior to the tournament that may or may not be in there. More than likely I'll just put all 4 in.
Awesome. Cool. All right. Well, I'll make sure to put all the links in for you. Where can people find you on the webs?
Find me on Instagram at Sean_AW_Luke. And yeah, go to Indie Planet, find Karate Ninja, and probably September. Yeah, mid-September, we should have the actual issue 1 available.
Beautiful. All right,
through
perfect.
Cosmic Lion.
Awesome. Cool. Well, yeah. Thanks for coming on. Thanks for showing this off. It's always good to have you on. We'll have you on again when more things come out. And it's always good to talk to you, man.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you.
All right, we'll talk to you later.
Take care.
Bye. Join my Patreon to see my work before anyone else, plus score physical sketchbooks, mini comics, and commissions delivered right to your door, and reading my new books, Something Seems Off and Three-Headed Pigman, as they are made. Go to my website to order original art, commissions, and my books, Lost Angels, Spectral: A Showcase of Fear, Chaotic Neutral, and more. Gray Matter Drip, The Art of Chris Anderson, is available now from Cosmic Lion Productions. Here are the upcoming conventions I'll be at the time of this recording. And don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe. It helps spread the word. Thanks.